Second order of new business. The Chance Track Development over on State Road and 250 behind the Episcopal Church. Predmar Combs would like to talk through sketch plan review for the construction of the new townhomes. I believe what's the number?
116.
160 units?
116, 116.
Oh, sorry, 116. Yep. 116. All right. So, James, I'll turn it over to you, and then Link, you can jump in and assist if there are any questions. So.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Just wanted to, I'll kick it off with what our plan is for the property, and Link can fill in any details as far as the engineering work that we've done so far and some of the research on the property. So our plan is, as you see, to build 116 ranch townhomes, all for sale. It's a mix of 3 and 4 unit buildings. The community will be very similar to what we're building currently on State Road. So it's really a continuation of the same type of homes and the same price point and floor plans. So the homes will range in square footage. As I mentioned, all ranches, 1,400 to about 2,000 square feet. We currently start at $265,000. Our average price point right now is $350,000. Demand has been very strong for us. We have, over the past few years, ramped up to the past 2 years, we've closed 26 to 27 units per year in that community. So it's been very good. We were starting off very busy this year, and obviously we've been on pause, so we're starting to make our comeback now. Every home will have a basement. Some will have walkouts, just depending on the grade. HOA for all the common area maintenance, the landscaping, the exterior of the homes, the buildings, the grounds. There's no age restriction. We don't put a cap on the age as far as no younger than. But based on what we've done in the past few communities, we've built this type of home in many towns. The Pittsford, Henrietta area, the many in Penfield, Fairport. Our designs really meet the needs of empty nesters and seniors. So we have very few young families or school-age children. The school bus currently does not go through Arbor Creek, even with 70-plus residents there now. So that's who it meets the needs of best. We have on the plan a community center. Our community center is intended for once we start back up with really neighborhood use and community gatherings. Residents use it. There's a small fitness center. There's a large community room, a kitchen, a large back porch for outdoor gatherings. And residents use it for community activities, community meetings. There's book clubs. There's different types of, euchre club, that kind of stuff that happens. And then people reserve it for private parties. If somebody has a birthday party or a baby shower or something they want to have, they can reserve the space for their own function. That's really it. We plan on it being a dedicated road. And we would obviously maintain all of the driveways and the snow removal and the lawns. And that's about it. Link, do you have much to add there?
Just a couple. I'll just add a little bit about utilities and things. There's a sidewalk. We're proposing a sidewalk on one side of the road, and we're also proposing 2 access points, one off of State Road and one off of 250. We do know, in the letter I put in there that we know there's wetlands out there. We tried to honor where we think they are, but we're working through with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They're not currently reviewing things and looking at things, but we know we have to do that. And we also will be looking to see if we can get a variance for the front setback from 40 foot to 25 feet, which is typical of what Jim's doing in the other community areas around. 40 foot, pushing them back 40 foot is more than just a lot of extra pavement and driveway that they don't typically need all that additional pavement. So we're just does have a garage, and we also really tonight what we're looking to do is just get the board's feedback, any kind of feedback we can get, so that we can take that input and move forward into a formal application or review process. The preliminary application, once we come in with it, it'll include an engineer's report addressing the stormwater management and erosion control that's consistent with the DEC requirements for stormwater management. And also, I just wanted to mention, I think Jim probably planning on this will probably be 3 or 4 phases of a of development. Wouldn't be one; it'd be a few different phases. But we like, the layout. We've tried to provide buffering around. There'll be just, like we're showing a pond off the frontage on 250. There'll be a pond on the east property line. That front area is a wetland that'll remain. So we're trying. There is some buffering, and we're trying to, buffer around where we can, which also helps with the reduction of the driveway lengths because we can sort of cluster the units a little closer to the road and try to save some of the green areas and things. So with that, I think we were just sort of looking to get feedback tonight and start working forward to the next steps in the process. So.
Peter, Kathy, would anybody care to start? I'll reserve my comments till later.
I guess I don't have any questions. I wasn't aware that you were associated with Arbor, the other development there.
Yes.
But I like the spacing between 3 and 4, and not any larger than that. It looks like a good plan.
All right. Anything else, Kathy?
No.
Okay, Peter? I'm okay. It looks a little bit premature to have any complaints or criticism. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say kudos. Yes. All right. All right. So, just a few typical things that always come up in any development of any nature. I don't see, and this always happens, is overflow parking, because sometimes, people have parties or guests come over to their units and they end up parking on the streets, blocking the roads. So I don't see any overflow parking.
Good catch. Right. Yeah.
How do you guys typically handle trash management? Is that on an individual basis, I would imagine? So,
The HOA, the individual with the HOA contracts one contractor to come through, and it's all through that fee, so it's coordinated.
okay.
Yeah, and as far as overflow parking, we'll take a look at it, but we don't have a lot of overflow parking in Arbor Creek, and we don't have any issues with cars parked in the road. We don't see a lot of big gatherings at their homes, and oftentimes when there's a gathering, it's at the community center. We'll take a look at some supplemental parking, but we don't have a big issue with it where we are currently.
Okay. These are just typical things that might come up during just, throwing it out there for consideration. The other thing, what did I want to say? I do have 2 letters already from adjacent homeowners. I guess there are drainage issues associated with the existing site. Obviously it's an undeveloped site, so, Mother Nature is running her course. But running her course means that the water is leaving this property onto adjacent homeowner properties. And obviously this is an opportunity to potentially correct those drainage issues. So obviously, as the process gets further along, you'll be working with Army Corps of Engineer, checking your topography, making sure that drainage off the property is contained, and obviously working with the stormwater management facilities, whether they have to be enlarged, moved around, whatever. So it's just, I'm not going to read them at this point, but just I want it duly noted that 2 separate individuals have written in with drainage concerns on the adjacent properties to, I believe, to the east. So moving towards, heading towards State Road School in that direction. So, landscaping is always an issue. What about street lighting? Is there any street lighting for the facility?
Yes. We would plan to do street lighting.
Okay. And then another thing that comes up quite often is, and as you stated, this would probably be a phased development, and there have been issues in the past where developments stall or stop. And then the infrastructure is never completed. So we will have to look at that very carefully and closely to make sure that the infrastructure, especially roads, sidewalks, streetlights, utilities, are completed so that, the rest of, phase one residents are not inconvenienced because the whole project potentially gets shelved. So those are just basic concerns that will come up during the course of this discussion. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. Other than that, I like the plan. I can probably envision myself, moving someday into a facility of this nature. I don't want to be this house forever, so. And I don't think my wife's ever going to let me leave the neighborhood. So we're here. So I want a nice place to be able to consider going to in the future. And I know you guys do nice property development. So
thank you.
I look forward to this process continuing, and we will continue to field emails, issues, anybody's. Obviously, once it's open to the public, when we're hopefully soon capable of meeting face to face and in public, that we can actually, get a good discussion going. Mr. Barham, how are you, sir? You're on mute.
Late, sorry.
That's okay. Do you have any comments, concerns? We have stated a few things, but if you'd like to chime in.
No, well, a couple of things. Overall, based on previous projects and what we have accepted in the past, I actually like the footprint of this. The 4-unit as opposed to the 7 and 8-unit thing.
Right.
It's not overly dense. I know you're going to need one variance, guys, because of the wanting to be less than 40 foot in the front. I don't think that's a game changer, though. The only thing, which I'm sure Joe probably talked about already, is drainage is going to be a huge deal. So I'm sure you guys already talked about that. I know this is just sketch plan review, but please keep that in the back of your mind. I don't think this project is causing all the drainage issues, but everybody's going to be looking at that. With every project there, Jim, it's going to be drainage and traffic. So.
Yes, and one other thing I wanted to just point out. As the process develops and stuff, I see where some of the units are tucked into the corners off the roads. Are there going to be issues with fire truck access? Are they going to be able to get in there? Or is that, obviously, the fire marshal will take a look at all this too. But just make sure that there are proper roads, turning radiuses, all that business, so that emergency vehicles have access. Some spots look tight, because they're not roads anymore; they're just basically driveway extensions. So you have to make sure that we have first responder access, all pieces and corners of the property.
Okay.
But the buffering looks good. Obviously, we'll need landscape plans and all that stuff as you go further. But as Will said, the footprint is nice. I guess back when we met informally, you had an option. There was supposedly an option potentially in the front with facility, and that's not reflected, so I take it that went away.
Yeah, I talked to them, and it was just too soon for them to get into the process. So I wanted to move forward and not wait.
Got it. And that was was that a dedicated senior living piece?
Yeah, what it was is the Rochester Presbyterian Home. It was a memory care facility that we've built two others for them in communities that we have, one in Chili, one in Fairport. And they've said they want to be in Webster at some point. So I reached out to them to see if they were ready, and it was just a little too quick for them, for their timeline.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there were no motions to be made tonight other than plan looks good. No violent discouragement to offer. And just work through the plans, work through the details, and obviously, it's maybe stepping forward. Obviously, you guys know what you need to do. RG&E, that's going to be a monster getting through them and all that business, but that's in your court.
Yeah, we've done it many times. And when it's appropriate and when we're getting together again, it's nice that I have such a similar project right down the road. That, whenever we want to meet out there informally, happy to give a tour and you can see what it's going to look like someday.
Yep.
That'd be good.
I think that'd be good. Obviously, the key to all these things is good communication, good community involvement, and let's address people's concerns and, put any significant issues to rest before this thing even gets too far along, and then it should be hopefully smooth sailing.
Great.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Good.
All right.
Thanks for the feedback. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you for the feedback.
Okay.
All right. Take care.
Okay. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.